What's going on, Crimson Tide fans? Chris Daughtery here with the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. A little bit later of a video going out today. We were live for about 4 hours today across 18 different channels here at Chat Sports doing a mock draft, and it was a really good time. We had all of our hosts actually making those picks for their teams, and then we had the simulator do some of those other teams that we do not have channels for. But it was a very, very fun time, and if you guys want to hang out with us for all 7 rounds of the 2025 NFL Draft. We get those picks faster than you will actually see for the NFL Draft. They always get leaked, so we go ahead and put those picks on the screen for you guys, and we go ahead and talk about those picks with deeper analysis. We don't just, slide by players. We're live for all 7 rounds of the NFL Draft, and we'll talk about every single picks. And also, probably the best part, there are also no commercials. So make sure you guys are subscribed. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv over on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about a few things here. Transfer portal targets, obviously, it's second day of the transfer portal here, and Alabama hasn't really done much movement, but also there hasn't really been much movement away from Alabama as well, so a very positive thing there for the Crimson Tide. Also, want to talk about a little bit about the growth from Ty Simpson. Charlie Potter of Bama Online wrote a really nice article today. He did an interview with Ty Simpson's dad, and they just kind of went over a few things where Ty Simpson has kind of shown some growth over, the past couple of months here during Alabama's spring practice, all coming up here on today's show. First thing I want to talk about, though, the vibes are very high right now, seemingly, in Tuscaloosa. We're almost through day 2 now, knock on wood, where no Alabama players have actually entered the transfer portal, and that's a very positive thing considering what you had, like 20 players, 23 players, something like that, enter the transfer portal during that spring or during that winter transfer portal window. So it really does seem like right now this team is really, close-knit. They all seem like, they kind of trauma bonded, I think, during that fourth quarter program. Josh Pate also, talking to that, saying really seemed like this coaching staff really put this team through the ringer. And, when you're going through all that as a team, it really does just bring you closer together. So as of right now, through day 2, about 6:30 p.m. Eastern time or so, no Alabama players have entered the transfer portal. I want to talk about some players here that Alabama could go after. Not saying they will or anything like that, but there are some very notable players I think that are already in the transfer portal that do fit the description of players that Alabama would want to go after. Tanner Koziol, I believe is how you pronounce his name there. He is a tight end right now, was at Wisconsin here for the spring, but last season he was at Ball State. Really did ball out for Ball State, no pun intended there. 94 catches, over 800 yards, 8 touchdowns there for him last season as well at Ball State. So, when you talk about him there, and then he hit that transfer portal in the wintertime, and then he's already hitting the transfer portal here in the springtime, getting away from Wisconsin. So I understand if you would like to, stay away from that because, you're hitting the transfer portal and then you're going to another school just a couple of months later. Not the, best look out there, but this kid is really, really good. His past couple of years at Ball State where when it comes to getting production out of that tight end spot, that's definitely something that, Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama coaching staff definitely wants to do. And this is somebody that can definitely get that for you. He's a pretty big guy as well. So you would assume he could do a decent job, at least in run blocking. But really, Alabama right now doesn't necessarily need somebody that can, go in and be a starter. Might not be something, that he would want to do, but definitely an intriguing name right now in the transfer portal. So name a player that you guys would like Alabama to land in the transfer portal. It is the pinned comment of today's video. So if that ad comes here on YouTube, that is totally okay. Get down there, take advantage of it, and let me know what you guys think. The next player that I want to talk about here is Brody Dalton. Now, he is from the state of Alabama, so I do think that is a very notable thing, and I do think that could probably help you out as well when it comes to landing him out of the transfer portal. Now, the first 2 seasons he was at UAB, ended up transferring to Troy. He's going to be a redshirt senior this season, so he's only going to have 1 more year left of eligibility. So when it comes to that, like I said, he's probably not going to be a starter, but really what Alabama is looking for is a depth piece right now. So you never know. He could be a cheaper option in terms of getting a player out of the transfer portal, because everybody knows Alabama is not going to throw a bag at a player right now in this spring transfer portal window, because honestly, the players in this portal window right now aren't really your top end type of players, but I would definitely keep a lookout for Brody Dalton in the transfer portal. We'll continue on here in just a minute, but today's show is presented by GameTime. GameTime makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer you get to tip-off, if indeed you do want to go to an NBA playoff game. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price is guaranteed. GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. You guys can take advantage of their last-minute deals and save up to 60% off by buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. You guys can get tickets to Alabama football games if you want to. They are already on sale. Got Talladega coming up here in a couple of weeks. You also have Braves games that you guys could go to as well. It's not a very far drive from Tuscaloosa to Atlanta, so I know when I was, in school there at Alabama, I definitely made that drive a couple of times. GameTime, you guys can use the GameTime Picks feature. It just makes getting last-minute ticket buying even easier by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They also have the zone deals. You guys can save even more when you choose the section and let GameTime choose the seat for you, because really, it doesn't matter what exact seat you're sitting in as long as you are in that section that you want. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app today, create an account, and redeem promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS. That's ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's video. So download the GameTime app today. They have last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, all guaranteed. Now, the next thing I want to talk about on today's video is Ty Simpson. Charlie Potter of Bama Online did an interview with his dad, Jason Simpson, who, of course, is the head coach there at UT Martin as well. And they just kind of discussed some areas of growth from Ty Simpson, in his time at Alabama, especially here over the last couple months during spring practice. So I just want to touch on a couple of these key notes that I really took away from that article and that interview there. The first one here, Ty Simpson's no longer pressing. He mentioned, his dad mentioned in that first quarterback battle in 2023, he would see somebody else, go out there, make a really nice throw, and he would try to make a better throw. And at the end of the day, that's not really the best thing. Obviously, that is the competitive nature of athletes out there, no matter what, sport or position, whatever it is that you are playing. But that, at the end of the day, does just lead to more mistakes. Something that Nick Saban talked about was, keeping your head down and doing what you need to do to increase your value and not worry about what everybody else is doing. If Ty Simpson is really just, going out there and playing without any type of, pressure on him, I think that is just going to lead to some very positive results for Ty Simpson and ultimately this Alabama team next season if he indeed does win that starting quarterback job. Now, this was kind of a funny one here. Ty Simpson's dad said he kind of turned into an old man, so that's why I threw the old man Simpson up there. He said, he really just has changed his preparation a lot in terms of, going to bed early, getting up early, really focusing on his recovery there, and also doing little things he got a dog last year, and, when you're at the facility for 12 hours a day, it's probably not the best thing to have your dog at home for 12 hours a day while you're, doing football stuff all day long. So his dog ended up going back to Tennessee and living with his family. So, Ty Simpson really, it does seem like he is doing all the right things right now to end up being Alabama's starter. Hopefully it works out. So what is your confidence level in Ty Simpson? I think a lot of people, it's kind of grown a little bit, especially after that showing on A-Day. I definitely think, Ty didn't really do a ton of stuff, but when you were looking at kind of some of those other quarterbacks, they were making mistakes, and Ty Simpson was not making mistakes. And at the end of the day, that kind of is the name of the game. So let me know what your confidence level in Ty Simpson is. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Let me know in the comment section. Another thing that his dad talked about here was knowing the intent of the play. And to me, my metaphor for that was, learning statistics. I took statistics a couple of times when I was at Alabama, just because, I was trying to go into class and, go through the motions and, figure out, the correct process of how to actually figure out the problem. But it wasn't necessarily about, how to do the problem. It was about why the answer was what it was. It was, kind of one of the things in statistics is, why is this what it is? Not necessarily how you get to that outcome. And, when you're looking at play calling and, you might have a guy going on a deep route down the sidelines, but then really his main job in running that route might actually be to clear out some of those defenders and actually hit that guy coming underneath for, 10, 12, 15 yards or something like that. It's not always about, going for the deep play. And if Ty Simpson is understanding the game just at a deeper level, that's a really, really good thing for this Crimson Tide team. The last thing here is the leadership here. As we all know, Ty Simpson was voted to Alabama's leadership group. And it really does seem like he really does bond with his teammates outside of the facility. A couple months ago, he hosted some of his teammates, going on a rabbit hunt out there, and really just bonding with your teammates outside the facility is a very, very big thing. It's just as important, I think, as, going through what you have to do during the, practice and everything like that, to bond with them on the field. But those relationships off the field are also very, very important. He also mentioned that they text each other after practice just to get on the same page of things. He said, sometimes he is sitting on Ty Simpson's laptop, and, his text messages are linked to his laptop. So it's just text, all coming in from his teammates, not from some people outside the organization or anything like that. And when you're doing those types of things, this team as a whole just really does seem locked in, and they seem like they are, one, especially going back to nobody's entered the transfer portal right now as of, almost 2 days into this transfer portal window. So when you talk about leadership, that is one thing Ty Simpson has definitely grown on. Kalen DeBoer has talked about that as well. And that's going to be a really, really big key in winning this quarterback battle.